Have you ever had an unpleasant reaction from your students saying that your lesson is tedious or repetitive, something that is not attractive to them? So I came up with TDL, data-driven learning, and TBLT. Inside the TBLT, I've used really task-based framework to help the students finish their tasks. And how can I combine these two approaches between corpus and also task-based learning into one single plan? Integrated with Google Sites. Hello, my name is Erlanga, and I'm a student at the University of St. Andrews, and I'm studying TESOL. For this technology for teaching presentation, I have prepared a presentation about sustainable learning through DDL and TBLT. All of the platforms are free, and they were designed for language learning. Google Sites, Zengengo, Quizzes, Padlet, and Wordwall. Google Site as the main product or the main platform that I use. Let's discuss about the context of this lesson. It is designed for intermediate learners and also learners who live in Indonesia who are monolinguals. They have such a small or little exposure to English, and because it's public high school and it's a face-to-face classes, not an online class. Although this platform can be used for online as well. It is a very high stake because it's going to be used for the national exam. And unfortunately, the students only use English in school. So the learning outcomes from these materials that we want to improve our students' language skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, as well as enhance their vocabulary and grammar. I chose one particular topic, which is how to write a personal statement. At the end of the lesson, they are expected to do that. So after the context, we have the problems here. According to a recent study by Indonesian researchers in English language teaching by Tambu, Lasribu, and Galingging, so they found out that these are the problems, such as grammar, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So to them, English is very confusing, difficult. They dislike English, so English is less important for them. And it comes from the external factors of the teachers, because the teachers are, they're not knowledgeable, they have lack of passion in English, and the teacher's method is quite passive and not very interactive. That's why they feel like English is not really important for them, so they focus on other subjects. So the solution is that I came up with this idea to use Google Site as the main environment of teaching English, so that other platforms that provide audio, video, files, work, etc., could be integrated with it inside the Google Site. So when we have the Google Sites, we can also apply TBLT and DDL, also gamification, giving feedback to students, and collaboration work. So Google Site is really an excellent platform for learning. And also it will create a portfolio for students so they can see their work again when they finish their program. So at the end of the lesson, it will create a sustainable learning, because when they want to learn something again, they can just access the link given by the teacher. As long as the link is not deleted or erased by the teachers, they can still access it anytime they like. How do I do it? Here I will demonstrate a little bit about how to create Google Site. Just click Google Sites, and here you got different templates. You can choose either blank or any templates that have been provided here. This one, you choose student portfolio. You can create your class name, for example, the golden class. And this is the name of your project. You can say your name. So you can choose here the type of menu. Navigation, is it transparent, white, or black? So easy to customize. I think it's easy to operate this platform, and you can explore. I cannot give you the entire class for this presentation because I have such a limited time. But the main point is that you can decide to add more pages here. As you can see, we have math classes, math class. You can use this feature to name your student. For example, Megan. You can create this page for themselves. They can customize as their own blog, just like this one. And I have the exemplar where Mark could experiment with his own page. And how can we do that? And how can students edit this Google Site? It's easy. You can click share with others, and then draft restriction anyone with the link. Public site with public. And then for example, this is your student's email. Of course, you do have, and then click editor. Send them. As a student, you will have the access. Don't worry about your unsafe work, because it will be saved automatically in Drive. You can put any menu, even YouTube video, for example, past tense. You can also design, select. You don't need to worry about the copyright of the picture because it belongs to Google site. It's not the Google in general. If you want to see what it's like, you go to this menu, preview. You can see how it will look like in tablet and also on phone. So it will look like this. It's beautiful. For anyone who wants to explore Google site, go ahead, and as I stated before, I cannot give you the entire lesson of how to use Google site. I think it's pretty easy and it's free. This is what it looks like, the website that I have designed from scratch. So we have class overview and then Padlet, they are all functional, and all timelines from July until December. It's a one semester. The school doesn't exist, it's just fictional. You can explore this menu, and here is my work that you need to assess. So as I tell you, I use Willis task-based framework. The first one is pre-task, and then we'll move on to task cycle. In task cycle, we have task planning and report, and the last one is language focus, analysis and practice. I'll explain it from the first one, pre-task. So the teacher introduces the topic, activates schemata, and ensure understanding of task instruction. So the student will be required to answer this question and then discuss it with their friends or classmates. They also asked to watch a video that's relevant to the discussion that they were going to learn. And also the last activity for this stage is that they need to read the personal statement. And yeah, this aligns with push-output hypothesis, where she claims that the push-output hypothesis suggests that in specific situations, the act of using language, such as speaking or writing, plays a role in the process of learning a second language. And then we move on, so they can also post their thoughts in here on Padlet. They move on to task cycle, which is the task itself, and planning and report how they can deliver their discussion. They are tasked to work on Google Doc. Here I have some example, question and answer, and do this. However, if it is sharing, so student can overlap the typing. That's why the roles in students' team or group are necessary. For example, there's a student who become a leader, highlighter, and so on. And in the planning, they need to prepare a summary and then use visuals such as PowerPoint. And this align with eTandem by Helm and Gutt 2016. So the primary focus is often on enhancing linguistic proficiency, where learners are encouraged to give feedback on their partner's performance in the foreign language, identify and correct errors, and suggest alternative formulation. This is where they can improve their language overall. In report also, they will get feedback by their peers, because there will be questions from them. And the role in here for the teacher is that the teacher will manage how who will talk first and who will answer first, and so on. And the last stage is language focus, analysis and practice. This is where they can play a little bit about the language. So I focus on yellow from the personal statement. We can say here, play, for example. Gamification is quite important because it aligns with Reinhardt and Tron. Assert that digital games with limited language register offer opportunities for contextualized language use. So this is what we're doing. For example, 7. It's a noun sometimes that happens you feel that affects how you feel. Let's say experience. So when it's correct, it's correct. We also have another game called this is a feeling gap. So back to Reinhardt and Reynolds 2016 about the language use. This is similar to literature and film, can be benefit for reading development when supplemented with focused vocabulary. So we focus on that. So instruction, discussion, and writing activities in the classroom. So this game is very good. Now in the practice, the last phase of the language focus is that we can use corpus here. They can download this worksheet for their instructions, and they do it accordingly. They have the website right inside this Google site, and the YouTube video where they can watch how the sketch engine works. This aligns with the learner autonomy by Friginal. The activity allows them to emphasize the importance of learning, being researchers of a language, and becoming autonomous in their language acquisition through access to resources and research training. I think the advantage is that we can create a sustainable learning, like I said in the beginning, that they can always access this platform whenever they can, as long as the link is not missing or corrupted, and the the DL approach is quite accurate because this is the real language that you use in real context, in real situation, and autonomous because they become a researcher to search the corpus, and it's very authentic because the task is to write a personal statement for their higher education. It's meaningful context, and for the disadvantages, I think it requires training for both teachers and students. The students with low proficiency in English, especially if in EFL countries, I think it's it's a bit challenging for us. And it's too much information from different platforms because we know that different platforms have different format of reporting the result of the student. So it will be quite confusing for teachers for if they want to look one result to another. But that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you can apply these two approaches to your teaching activities for your language classes, especially for English teachers. I'll see you. Thank you.